What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film breakdown, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit like I did the other day with my 4-3 versus 3-4 video, why I think that question is ridiculous. Today I'm going to be talking about a very trendy topic, a very football hipster. I noticed nickel is the new base, therefore I know a lot about football topic, and I'm not trying to single out any person or media group in particular. Obviously what I'm talking about is the narrative that nickel is the new base. I'm going to get into why I think that's ridiculous, why I think it's a trend, why I think it makes sense, and I'm going to be doing that right after I tell you to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports. We're both pumping out content. Appreciate all the support that we're getting. Even if you're watching one of my videos just to tell me that I'm an idiot, just to tell me that I'm a clown for thinking that the Browns will be good this year, hey, I appreciate you clicking on the video. I appreciate you watching the video. And maybe you should reevaluate your life moral so that you're not so angry about somebody making a video on YouTube. Now, with that being said, let's dive into why I think calling nickel the new base is lunacy. Maybe not lunacy, but I think it is ridiculous. What I think we need to understand first and foremost, let's classify what a nickel is. A nickel, to me, you have your 4-down defensive linemen right here, 2 backers, and then really the biggest thing is your 5 defensive backs. Here you can see 3. There are another 2 outside of the screen, which you cannot see. Now, in this defense, and the reason why I think nickel has been becoming more and more popular, it's pretty obvious, guys. Sit back and think about it. 11 personnel has been taking over the NFL for the last couple of years. Defenses aren't going to sit in their base and go up against that 11 personnel. They are going to change. They are going to adapt. They're going to bring on another defensive back so they can match up with the other receiver that the offense brought on the field. That makes sense to me. What we need to understand, though, is that offenses aren't just going to sit there and be like, oh, they brought another defensive back on the field. Let's just continue to run our pat. No, they got coaches too. Okay? Offenses are going to start to adapt, and they're going to start doing stuff like this. This film is from last year, the Rams and the Seahawks, and what the Rams do to this nickel that Seattle is running is they run wide zone to it, and the Rams were so good at running this last year. Now it's starting to all make sense because they were getting nickel, right? We're going to push this 3-tech right up to Bobby Wagner. We're going to work this backside, right? This backside 2-eye with our guard. Andrew Whitworth's going to come down here, check this, but then he's going to get friction from this end, so he's going to wheel on that. Very, very simple. But at the end of the day, you got one backer in the box who has to be held responsible out here. Right? Now you're leaving Bobby Wagner alone on this, and he's going to end up getting somebody right in his lap as Todd Gurley's creasing this thing to the other 2 gaps over. Right now, Bobby Wagner's a freak, so he still gets over there and makes the play. But when you run nickel and you take a backer off the field, you are susceptible to stuff like this. So when we sit there and we say nickel is the new base, we need to understand that nickel is the new base because 11 personnel became the new thing on offense. And now, as much as 11 personnel still dominates, throwing the rock out of 11 personnel, I think, is going to dwindle. And when you look at the coaches in this league, you look at the Shanahans, and you look at the McVays, and you look at the other coaches who are dominant, Stefanski, right? Guys who are running well-oiled machines as offenses, they're going to pick up on the fact that, hey, there's another defensive back on the field. They're light in the box. They only got 6 in the box. We can run against that. And I think that we look at here in this game last year from the Rams and the Seahawks, right? And the Seahawks last year went base the majority of the time. Part of it was because they have athletic freaks at linebacker. Part of it's because they have Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright and Michael Kendricks at linebacker. But the other part of it is because they were sick of getting shredded in their nickel. Last year when the Rams and Seahawks played, in the clips that I was showing you, Todd Gurley, 16 rushes, 120 yards, and a touchdown. This year, I don't think he had over 50 yards, right? And it's not because of anything other than, obviously, yes, the athletes, but at the same time, we're not in nickel anymore. I would call this a 6-man over, right? Here's your strength, 3-tech, 1-tech. You have your 4-eye right here. He's squeezed in because of the backer. Same thing on this side. He's lined up in a 5 outside shoulder pad of this tackle, right? But we're not in nickel. And we're able to make this play. We match up better with the offensive line. We match up better with them trying to run the rock. And they did this throughout the game. And the Seahawks were so much better against the Rams last year for a number of reasons, but schematically on defense, this was a major one of them. So let's get out of the NFC West for just a second. Let's pop up to the NFC North. Let's start talking about this wild card game that went down between the Vikings and the Saints. Vikings come out here in 11 personnel, right? One tight end, one back. This is not Adam Thielen, but this is another one of their receivers. But when you come out in this nickel, like I said before, you leave yourself open to this weak side wide zone that's been shredding teams in the NFL lately. We have to work here, we have to work this combo to this defensive end up to here, and now we're forcing this safety to come up and make a tackle on Dalvin Cook in the alley. I'm picking Dalvin Cook in that situation 100 times out of 100, because look at what my safety does here, right? Dalvin Cook is 8 yards down the field, and he's still backpedaling. So when we say nickel is the new base, let's understand for a little bit that it's a trend. It's not the new base. 4-3, 3-4, those are going to be your base defenses. Are you going to have a nickel package for when offenses go 11 personnel? Absolutely. You're an idiot if you don't. But saying that we're going to come out and line up in nickel on 1st and 10 when the offense is in 12 personnel is just ridiculous. Here's another example, and I don't mean to pick on New Orleans. Niners coming out in 11 personnel, right? Weak side wide zone, once again, ripping them for yardage because you get better matchups that way. And I don't know if there's a disconnect between, just people who look at the numbers, people who look at the quote-unquote analytics of it, and people who look at the scheme. Because there's ways to scheme up a nickel defense and have your running back rush for 200 yards. There's ways to do it. And trust me, NFL offenses, they're not going to ram their head against a wall trying to throw the rock against nickel defenses. And this is part of the reason why I sit there and say it's just a trend. Well, the trend now is moving away from this 10 personnel, 11 personnel, spread the rock out, to more of a ground and pound, right? You look at the best offenses in the league right now. Tennessee Titans were the most efficient offense from yards to play. They gained the third most yardage, I think, per play. I think it was the third most, not the most efficient. And it's because of a guy like Derrick Henry. And it's because you come out and you line up in 11 personnel, and defenses give you nickel, and you're like, we're just going to pound the rock. We're going to stress them vertically. Their linebackers are going to over-pursue, and then we're going to cut this thing back for a gain of 12. Easy. Have fun with a safety tackling Derrick Henry. Saying nickel is the new base is just something I can't wrap my head around. It's something that I can't get behind, and once again, I think that it is a trend. It is not something that's going to last. Because if it continues like this, you're going to have Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott's and Le'Veon Bell's, and you're going to have these guys, Dalvin Cook, you're going to have the guys like this running over the league. Not only that, but you're going to start to see offenses trend away from 11 personnel and move more towards 12 personnel, move more towards 21 personnel. That's what's working right now in the NFL because defenses are lining up in nickel. It is an adapt league in the NFL. It is all about being able to change with the times. The times were dictating in previous years that they were going to spread, the offenses were going to spread the rock out, and that they were going to dink and dunk. They were going to find their matchups. They were going to win their matchups on the outside. They were going to stress backers over the middle. That's where the trend was going. That's not where the trend is going anymore. Look at the teams in the AFC. The Chiefs, to me, right now are almost an anomaly. Look at the AFC teams. You have the Ravens, you have the Titans, you have the Patriots. Those three teams, right? The Patriots, 53, Super Bowl 53. They won that. They ran through the playoffs that year because they ran the rock. Titans ran through the playoffs this year because they ran the rock. Chiefs, why did they beat the Titans in the AFC Championship game? And I've talked about this. I'll link this video right now. It's not because they lined up in nickel to 11 personnel. It's because they came out in a 5-man, 6-man over, and they said, you want to pound the rock with Derrick Henry, you're going to have to get through our linebackers and our defensive line. We're not going to let Derrick Henry get to the second level because we want to line up in nickel. I'm tired of seeing nickel's the new base and all these pro football focus articles from a bunch of dudes who clearly kind of don't understand the scheme. I mean, am I taking crazy pills here? Try coming out to nickel against Derrick Henry. Try coming out in nickel against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Try that. Try coming out in nickel against the Patriots because they're going to check out of it and they're going to check to their run. Come out in nickel against the Chiefs. Andy Reid's one of the best play callers in the NFL, probably one of the best play callers the NFL has ever seen. He's not going to sit there and run his head against a wall trying to throw the rock against nickel. Now, it's a little bit different for the Chiefs because they have guys who are faster than everybody else. So you can run whatever you want to run against them, and it's going to be a track meet. But saying that nickel is the new base, don't just take the bait. Don't just go to the trough and start eating that, because it's not true. It's a trend. It's going to die. Because NFL offenses are trending more towards having a fullback, towards having 12 personnel, or if you are an 11 personnel, we're not going to throw the rock. We're going to run the rock. We're going to run our wide zone. We're going to run our inside zone. We're going to mismatch you in the box because they're not going to respect the running game, and you have to take advantage of that. With all that being said, guys, I'm the Hook Cam. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that I made my points clear. I'm not angry about it. It's just something that bugs me because it's mainstream, and people just want to take the bait. They don't want to think for themselves. Don't take the bait. Watch the film. Anyway, guys, I'll stop. I appreciate you watching this video. If you did, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, that would mean the world to me. I appreciate all the support that I'm getting out there. That's all I got for this video. Hope everybody's staying safe, staying clean, washing those hands. With all that being said, guys, I'll see you next time.